Hi everyone, happy Textile Tuesday. This is Claire at the Allentown Art Museum, and today I'm going to share with you two batik textiles from Indonesia that are on view in our galleries right now. So these both date to the late 19th or early 20th century, and batik is an art form that really develops and flourishes in Indonesia from the 1200s on, so centuries to perfect this technique. Indonesia is trading heavily with India at this time, and some scholars see links between the development of these and the painted textiles that they were also importing from India. And so batik is unique in that the designs on the textile are drawn with wax. And the tool used for this is called a chanting. I have an example of one style here, a modern version, that shows you can take in the wax and then it comes out of this little spout and you can draw on the surface. And as you can imagine, this is pretty unforgiving. If you make a mistake, there's no way to get the wax out unless you want to start over with the entire process. So it demands a high level of skill and precision to do this kind of art. And so when you paint a design on the textile with wax, those areas, once you dye the textile, will stay undyed. And you can also do multicolor patterns. You can see on this example, you have the areas that are the natural cotton color, you have this light brown, and then you have dark indigo. So you would do two rounds of wax and dyeing. And once you're done, at the end, you would boil the textile and that would melt the wax. And then after that, the textile is back to the original texture of normal cotton fabric. And so an interesting addendum to the story of batik is that Dutch colonizers in the 19th century tried to create an industrially produced version, an imitation batik, that they can then sell back to the Indonesians as an inexpensive trade good. But the Dutch versions of batik are rejected by the Indonesians. They don't like the aesthetic. They've developed their own strategies for bringing down the cost of this tradition. And so it's really a flop. But in a surprising twist, these imitation batiks made in Holland find a market in West Africa. And scholars debate exactly how they got there, but they're really something that becomes of interest to the West African market. They relate to local traditions of painting textiles with cassava paste to create designs. West Africa has also been trading with India for several centuries, and so this kind of dialogue across countries with different designs that you see is something that makes them appealing and different, but also familiar in a way. They relate to those local indigo resist traditions. They become these symbols of identity and pride, and we actually have an example in our galleries. This is a sculpture by the British-Nigerian artist Iket Kepala, which makes use of Dutch waxcloth or African waxcloth, these mechanically produced textiles inspired by the art of batik. And many people actually prefer European-made Dutch wax textiles. There are companies in Africa now that produce them, but for people in Africa, people in the diaspora, these European-made textiles kind of retain this cachet. And so Iket Kepala, in his work, he's thinking a lot about colonization and the legacies of colonization and imperialism. And so he uses this fabric as a way to kind of spark these conversations. These two batik textiles will be on view in our American galleries through August 25th. So I definitely recommend you stop by and see them if you have a chance.